What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Rando Commando Show. You guys know the drill by now, how we take a completely random topic, throw a 2 sentences worth in. And once again, Nick has joined us for another episode. I'm Ethanuel, this is Nick Burt. Let's get into this next episode. So this one, most of our episodes have been pretty happy and jolly. I mean, like, I don't think we have had one mad or
Downer.
bad. Yeah. Everybody's got those movies that we've watched and gone, man, this really rips us.
So sad.
Yeah, they rips us up so bad. So for this episode, we're taking on a somber tone. We're gonna do top 5 saddest movie deaths.
And of course, when we say top 5, we just mean we picked 5. They're not necessarily in any order, but these are our top 5 in no specific order.
Yeah, we just thought they
at least that we could think of. The more we talked about, the more I was like, oh, I bet I'm forgetting things, and we probably totally are forgetting things. So that's why you should totally comment on yours, because we'll probably look at your list and be like, your list is way better.
Right.
So
An honorary mention, which I was gonna put on here, was Count Dooku deaths and Revenge of the Sith, but nobody likes Count Dooku, so
no one was sad when it happened.
Yeah. So I was like, I mean, it was sad for me, but I was like,
That's worth an honorable mention because we all know you.
right. So, but number 5, we're gonna kick things off, and we're gonna go Mr. Creasy from Man on Fire. In case you hadn't watched Man on Fire, the movie's all about how one man gets hired on by this super rich family in Mexico to guard their household. Well, during this time, the daughter of the family gets kidnapped, and so he goes all out to try and find her. At the end of the movie, he reunites the daughter back with the family, but like right before that happened, he had raided the bad guy's brother's base, and the bad guy's brother like shot him like with a pistol. And so like as the car is driving down the way, because they said the exchange was Creasy for the girl, and so Creasy's like, all right, I'll do it. So, but as the car is driving down the road, he dies in the backseat of the car. That one really got me. I didn't think it would be so impactful, but it really got me. Like on how like this one man who went all out and ended up giving his life to save the girl that he had come to care for like his own daughter. What about you?
My first one I'm going to talk about is probably one that is going to be pretty obvious, so we're going to get out of the way early, and it's Ellie from Up. In the first 5 minutes of that movie, if you want to get your heart ripped out. No, it's just so sad. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things that on one hand, I think we all man, I just hope you get that one person that you can spend the rest of your life with or whatever, and you get to see the old man and his wife meet and grow up together and all that stuff, and then but the thought of growing old without your other half is I don't know, it's just so sad. If you did not cry at the first 5 minutes of that movie, you are not a human being. I'm sorry. I did. Yeah. No, that movie's rough. I actually only saw it a year ago for the first time. Our friends were like, hey, want to cry? I was like, no. Oh, well, then we'll watch this happy movie. Let's watch Up. I was like, okay, that sounds great. It's a Pixar movie.
Nope. First 5 minutes. Definitely ripping out the heartstrings there.
Okay, what's your next one?
Maximus from Gladiator. The guy who goes through his whole life, and the emperor's like, I want you to watch over the throne, and then his son gets greedy and was kills his dad, and then ravishes the whole country, politics and whatever, and he gets sold as a slave. He shouldn't have given his life, but except if, as mom would put it, the emperor Cheater McGee and stabbed him. If that hadn't happened, he would have survived. But yeah, it's sad to see him be oh well, he gave his life to free his country. I mean, Braveheart definitely goes with him on that list.
They're kind of similar, I would say, in kind of similar veins. Yeah.
What about your next one?
My next one is basically everyone in Les Mis.
Oh gosh, I forgot about that.
But specifically at the end, when Jean Valjean dies, and when he dies,
that song is so good.
Yeah, but then you get to see everybody who's dead or whatever, and they're all on their barricade, and it's
right.
And they're singing that song, and it's just just going even just he's in this dark room or whatever, there's a couple candles and it's all dark, and he's leaving, and all of a sudden he's in this bright place with all of the people that you know and love from the last 3 hours of your life, because that's how long that movie is. Gets you in the feels for sure. But
my next one, nothing is worse than seeing a pet die, but having to do it yourself is absolutely heartbreaking. I'm talking about Old Yeller. When you get to Old Yeller and the oldest son who hates Old Yeller throughout almost the entire movie, like doesn't bond with the dog until towards the end, and then gets attacked by a wolf, and then Old Yeller does, and so they keep him in the cage, and they find out he's got rabies, and he's like, no mom, like I'll do it, like, and it's just like you could see even he's like as he's pulling the trigger, he's like crying. And I'm like, yeah, definitely one that I had to put on my list.
That's a good one.
What about your next one?
My next one is Albus Dumbledore.
Ooh,
from Harry Potter. The fact that like his last words are like Severus, please, and it's like that when you have the full context of him and Snape's like kind of arrangement, is he's like, you need to kill me. Like he knows that it needs to happen, and so he's not Severus, please don't kill me. It's Severus, please do this because this is what needs to be done. And you're just like, ugh.
Right. Like I just remember like reading the book and just being like, no, he can't be dead, because
you're like,
Albus Dumbledore is the reason why Voldemort hasn't killed Harry, and you're like, let's just take the one protection and.
Right. He has to survive a whole nother book.
Right. And you're like, this isn't gonna work.
Right.
Like.
Yeah. And I remember being like, okay, like where's the trick? What am I missing? How does he get out of this? And it's just like, nope, he's just like legitimately dead. And you're just like, wow, that really sucks. And then the 7th book flushes out like the why and everything, and you know that he was like dying anyway, and so but still, it's just like, oh.
My number 2 is Mufasa from Lion King.
That's your number 2?
Yeah, I've got one that tops that.
Wow.
That one, my number 1, like, hits me really hard. From the outside looking in, you're like, Scar's a bad guy, but Mufasa doesn't see that. Like Mufasa does. Scar's been he's like, Scar's my brother, and so when he's climbing up the cliff and he's like, gets right through the top, he's like, Scar, come on, I just need like a little help here, and Scar's like, and you realize you're like, no, Scar's gonna do something evil, and but Mufasa doesn't see that.
Oh, that's
and so then the fact is the worst part about it all, about his death, is that Scar manipulates Simba into thinking that Simba was responsible for Mufasa's death, and you're just like. Which is why Scar's such a great villain.
He's so bad.
But you're just like, oh, to blame your father's death on you? Oh, that is low. I remember going, he's not getting up. Like,
I remember every time watching that movie as a kid being like, oh, the stampede's coming. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah, that was like, but yeah, it just, that hit me so hard. But what about your number?
My next one, from Amazing Spider-Man 2, Gwen Stacy. Yeah, they spend 2 movies of like building up those two. Like that's more than like most. When a lot of people die at the end of one movie, it's like you spent 1 movie building that person up. But this, you had 2 full movies of like building up the whole Peter and Gwen thing. Yeah, they spend 2 full movies like building it up, whatever. And so like knowing that like that was something that happens in the comics, and even though those movies aren't direct comic adaptations, you know that they take things from the comics, and so you see like what's happening. Like Gwen is there, and you're like. Like it seems weird that like Gwen has to be there, and like then he takes the goblin takes her and they start going up, and you're like, oh, like this could go really badly, and sure enough it does. And like the fact that they're like in a clock, and it's like this weird metaphor for like time and like how it slips through your fingers and like all like that was a rough one for sure.
Right.
All right, what's your last one?
My last one. This one's also like this one's together on the list because they're very similar. Jesus Christ from Passion of the Christ and Aslan from Narnia. Like mainly, I mean, everyone's like, "Oh, Aslan comes back to life. Everything's good," but it's like you see, like in his final moments, like they pick on him, they ridicule him, they drag him up, they they tease him, and then like even the witch herself is like, did you think that you could still save him by giving yourself?
Right.
You just gave me your land essentially,
right? No,
and you're not gonna
take it anyway,
right? I don't know. It hits me so hard because it's like, if I was Edmund and I found out that happened to me, like, he just saved your life.
Right.
I just would be like, and it just makes me think like, oh, like, I don't know.
But that's how Jesus is for us,
right.
though.
Yeah,
so it's like, that's very much like,
right.
That's the picture that it paints. So it's like, I mean, obviously you just made the connection to the Jesus and the Passion of the Christ. But yeah, I mean, like, that's
that
like
one was,
how we as humans should feel is the Edmund, like knowing that, like that's,
right.
What happened? It's like, ugh.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, well.
And knowing that, like, it does, like, even if you were the only human on Earth, like, Jesus still would have done it. It wasn't like, well, because I'm only saving I'm going to be saving potentially billions of people. I'm going to do this. It was like, it wouldn't have mattered. Like, even if it was just
Right.
you, still would have done it. And it's like, ugh.
It's also true. Like,
Right. Well, that's like the only reason I didn't like put, because I think obviously Passion of the Christ came to mind, but it was like, I mean, it's different because it's real.
Right.
So it'd be sort of like putting like the World Trade Center or something on there too, where it's like, this is something that really happened. So it's like, I don't know, I guess for
Right.
me, there was like a disconnect in my brain where it was like, this is, especially like as Christians, like Jesus' death is like way different than everything else in our
Right.
lives. Even other people dying, it's like still very different. So I don't know, I was just like, that's why I didn't bring it up, but it's definitely worth mentioning for
yeah.
sure.
So, what about your last one?
My last one is Han Solo. It's so sad. It's so sad. And it's like, it's like the Gwen Stacy where it's like you can like see it coming. It's like as soon as you see him walking out on the bridge, you're just like,
No.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's this character that, like, I mean, Han Solo has been around longer than I've been alive, longer than most of us have been alive. And even the people who, were little kids watching it, I mean, like, this is somebody you've grown up with. I mean, most of us,
Right.
unless you're, like, really old, you have grown up with Han Solo.
Right.
And even though they haven't made a movie with him in a really long time, he's still a character that you have known and loved your whole life. There's like this weird part of you that's just like, oh, like they can't kill these people. Like they've been alive your whole life, and it's like, oh.
Right, and then the fact that he gets killed by his own
son
is like, that's. I thought Mufasa, getting killed by Scar was bad by his own brother, but it's like, no, your own offspring's like, I hate you enough that I want to see you dead. It's like, That is all the time we have for this very somber episode. Those are just some of our deaths. What are some of yours? We haven't seen. There might be some movies that we haven't even seen that you're like, Ethan, why aren't you guys haven't put this one on your list? And it's like, we may have not seen that movie, so we haven't experienced that death yet. If that's the case, leave it in the comments. We'll be sure to take a peek at it and see.
Definitely. Or if you have like links, it's like, hey, here's a clip of this, whatever. Even that, but yeah. Or even if they're ones that we have seen, we still like to talk about them for sure. So.
And if you don't have a YouTube account, leave it on one of our social media websites as well.
True.
And if you guys want to see Nick or any one of our other guests come back, you just leave us a comment and just let us know. We'll be sure to get back on.
Yeah. It's fun coming and doing this stuff. So if you guys want more of my ugly mug, just let me know and I'll come back.
I don't think you're ugly.
Hey.
But this is the Rando Commandos signing off.